Not you. Not you. Your organization's terrible. Your organization's terrible. Let's go. Go ahead. Quiet. Quiet. Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
Are you going to include the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional
Well, I
Hispanic
would. I
Caucus,
tell you what. Do you want to set up the meeting? Do you want to set up the meeting?
No.
Are they friends of yours?
No,
Set up the meeting.
I know some of them, but I'm sure
Let's
they're
go. Set up a
watching
meeting. I would love to meet with the Black Caucus. I think it's great.
And we had the most beautiful piece of chocolate cake that you've ever seen. And President Xi was enjoying it. And I was given the message from the generals that the ships are locked and loaded. Look, he's a showboat. He's a grandstander. The FBI has been in turmoil. You know that. I know that.
And I love all people, rich or poor. But in those particular positions, I just don't want a poor person. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? This is a long time ago. Sold his company for a tremendous amount of money. And he went out and bought a big yacht. And he had a very interesting life. I won't go any more than that because you're Boy Scouts, so I'm not going to tell you what. Should I tell you? Should I tell you? Oh, you're Boy Scouts, but you know life. You know life. North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
And he's back. Inauguration today at noon Eastern.
Whenever he talks about the chocolate cake in that, like, it always makes me think of like that movie Matilda. Do you remember that from back in the day where the fat kid here has to eat the entire chocolate cake? Was that not the most delicious looking chocolate cake like ever? Like it's all I remember about that movie is how amazing that chocolate cake looked.
All right, I'm going to bring down the ire of a lot of people. I'm not a big cake fan. It's too fluffy, there's too much there. I prefer pie.
No, see, now I will say most cake has too much icing for my taste. You know what I mean? Like most people just put way too much icing, and that's fucking disgusting. But no, I can't. The pie just doesn't. The way, like, you know, everybody talks about how great pie is. I'm like, it's okay.
I make my own.
I was talking chocolate pie or something. Now you're talking my language. I think it's more the fruit thing. I'm not that into fruit desserts.
I do a chess pie, and
what is that?
So basically, it's just like a sugar pie. It's more of a very sugary
pecan pie without the pecans.
Yeah, sort of. It's a little more dairy based, but it's like a cream pie, but not like gooey, or I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, I'll have to look it up and show you a picture. But anyway, I make chess pie, and one of the ingredients is sweetened condensed milk.
Nice.
And so I was making a chess pie, and I didn't realize that the only can of sweetened condensed milk that I had was chocolate sweetened condensed milk that I'd gotten for like making hot chocolate with the kids. And so I go to pour it in, and it, you know, obviously I open it up and start pouring it in, and it's brown, not the usual like cream color of the sweetened condensed milk. I was like, oh shoot. I was like, well, we'll see how it turns out. So it was excellent. And then we started doing variations of the chocolate.
I was trying to be adult, not make a cream pie joke there.
We started doing variations of chocolate chip pie where we put like white chocolate, like little fuck it. What's the little? You know what I'm talking about? The little nuggets. They're not nuggets though.
Chocolate chips.
Yeah, the little morsels. The morsels.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'd put like white chocolate in there with the chocolate chess pie, and then you get like a marbled look where it's like the brown from the chocolate, but with the white chocolate melting through it. Oh man, we ate a whole lot. It's no wonder my kids it's a wonder my kids aren't diabetic as much like chess pie, which is basically straight sugar. Like one of the key ingredients is like 4 cups of sugar.
I'll have to, is it chess or chest?
Chess.
How do you spell? Chess, baby, you ever heard of chess pie?
No.
All right, you can make that next for dessert. I try one of those. All right.
I've got a couple different recipes. I'll send you one of them.
Okay, dope. I like right before the show started, I had an incident. Okay, you have chickens and stuff. Now you're more organized than me, so maybe this isn't something that happens to you, but we've got some birds that are just sort of willy-nilly, around the property. They don't necessarily lay in like a nest box, so every now and then you sort of find where they lay and you collect the eggs, and you just want to be real careful with those eggs. You know what I mean? You crack them in a bowl first, float test them, whatever. Just to make sure you don't get a bad egg, because of course anybody who has experienced the rotten egg, it's pretty horrible. Well, I had a bin of these eggs that I collected yesterday on the table, and I come in this morning like 5 minutes before the show starts to this on the floor.
I was wondering what happened.
Yeah. So Dennis likes to get up on the counters in the morning and fuck with shit, and I guess he pulled these eggs down. So I had to quickly clean them up. And broken eggs is one of those substances like vomit that you can't really pick it up, you can't really sweep it. It's just the egg. Yeah, and
because it runs, but it also sticks, and
it's got chunks, but the chunks always want to slip through your fingers. It's like some sort of weird child silly putty kind of goop, gack kind of Nickelodeon slime type of item.
Oh man, we had gack and slime
together. Where it's it's solid if you push on it, but otherwise it's liquid. Something like that. So, and yeah, one or two of these weren't ideal. So that was a little on the gross side, but I managed to get it cleaned up. I ended up with breaking out the dustpan at some point and sliding the mash into the dustpan, and then I put that in the trash and then wash the dustpan. So I got a system down.
Oh, that's awful. A broken egg is the worst. Speaking of rotten eggs, I've got a flat top griddle that I cook on, and I used to when we lived in the other house, I'd pull it out in the garage or in the carport and cook in there all the time. And I get out in the morning and do breakfast. And one morning I had I had hash browns on one side, and I was doing some bacon, and I was gonna scramble up some eggs, and I cracked one, and as soon as I touched it to the edge of the thing, it just exploded, and it was fucking rotten. And have that rotten egg hit the hot griddle and start cooking immediately. Oh my god, it was everything I had not to throw up. I almost lost my shit just right, dude, standing there.
Those eggs, I've had a compost pile that's been there for a year, and there's an egg in there. It is completely dry on the inside. Everything's evaporated, but that motherfucker will be pressurized, and you toss it, and when it hits the ground, it sounds like a fucking 22 going off. Pow! It's eggs are amazing little critters, man. For sure. That's one hell of a structure, and then it'll stay negatively pressurized like that or some shit after everything evaporates out. A rotten egg will sound like a fucking 22. It's nuts. When I was a kid,
I was gonna say, speaking of cooking and stuff, I got to thinking about this because, okay, so we call this the rabbit hole. I'll see something, and the something will lead me to a bunch of other things that then take me to the final thought that I get. And usually, what happens is I'll say the final thought, and everybody looks at me like, "That came out of the blue. What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Okay, so I saw this over there, and then that led to this chain of events." This one's not a very deep rabbit hole. Stephanie we're putting a pork butt in the smoker this morning, and I was like, get it all doctored up, do whatever you want to it, and I'll go ahead and throw it in the smoker before I go do the show. And she took just a spoonful of garlic and slapped it on there. I was like, a little bit of garlic goes a long way, dear. And she's like, not with this minced garlic. You got to really rub it in. I was like, all right, whatever. And then the whole kitchen smelled like straight garlic for the rest of the morning until I got to cooking bacon, diffuse the odor a little bit. But I used to, when I was single and lived alone, I cooked all the time, and I just cooked different recipes and stuff. One time I was making a cream cheese stuffed chicken breasts, and the recipe called for a teaspoon of garlic, and I read it wrong and put a tablespoon of garlic in it, and it was way too much. It was like I go to take a bite of the chicken, it's like, oh my god, it's just straight fucking garlic.
You sensitive to garlic or something? Because for me, when it says a teaspoon, that means at least a tablespoon.
I guess so. Garlic goes a little bit of garlic goes a long way for me. But anyway, so
it's my Italian roots.
Probably so. It was way too much. But I had also made some broccoli and cheese rice, like some rice that had broccoli and cheese mixed into it. And so what I ended up doing was I took the I took the chicken and diced it all up and put it in with that and mixed it in, and then that diffused the garlic enough that it was actually like really good. So then I had a whole other creation that I wasn't expecting to have.
I guess in fairness, depending on how the garlic is used, once it like cooks down, it can be mellowed a lot too. So depending on what stage of the recipe you put it in, it can be stronger. I'll cut you some slack.
Yeah, now if I do have like garlic bulbs or something, and I'll like cook them on a skillet or something, and then add them in. That's different. But this was like
roast them up. Yeah,
yeah. But this was like the raw garlic going straight into the.
I stopped buying
cheese stuffing for it, so it was.
Yeah, that sounds still a little on the raw side. Then if you're putting it in the cream cheese.
Yeah.
I stopped buying like cloves of garlic, dude, because it's like they end up going bad. And they're a pain to crack open and cut up, and it's like you just buy like the jars of like minced garlic, and it's like as cheap, if not cheaper, than buying garlic bulbs half the time. And it's all the work's already done, dude. You open up the jar, take a spoonful, throw it in there. Like it's just so much easier.
And the juice in the jar, like you can strain some of that juice out and use it for cooking.
You sure can. Yep. Yeah, man.
Makes it quite convenient. I do like I don't like having the pre-minced or diced onions though. I like to have a raw onion and cut it up.
Yeah, same.
But Stephanie will get one out and she'll like use half of it, and she'll just leave the other half sitting on the counter. I'm like, you can't just leave an onion sitting out. And like those things just absorb everything. Like so, I'll grab it real quick and put it in a bag and stick it in the refrigerator, and then the next day she'll go to cook something else, and she'll just grab another onion and cut it in half. And so at one point, I had 3 halves of an onion in the refrigerator where she had cooked 3 different things that required onion, and just grabbed a new onion and cut what she wanted off of it, and then left the rest of it sitting on the counter. Like, come on, dear.
You need one of them Tupperwares that looks like an onion to remind everybody this is where the onions go.
Please use
onions.
Please use the onion you've already cut up. Stop cutting up more onions.
Well, now they've successfully driven everybody off with onion talk. We get the real meat.
We ran everybody else. I thought Clyde might make his return since we ran Steve and Trey off on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
But on a positive note, they are saying that after Trump gets inaugurated today, that basically by the end of the day, he's going to pardon most of the J6ers. So that means Mark might be back on like Wednesday.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Get him out of jail.
So inauguration happens like what time? So is he like? It's not like at like 12:01 this morning. He was president, right? Like they have to go through some ceremonious thing.
Yeah, they got to do the whole rigmarole. It'll be at noon. It'll be at noon today. Noon Eastern time. I'm half-assed considering. It's going to depend on what Stephanie does. She's talking about leaving for the day and going and doing stuff because she didn't have to work since it's Martin Luther King Day, and she might be going out and doing stuff. If she leaves and goes and does stuff, and I don't have anything else to do, I might sit down and stream the inauguration. If she's still here, then I'll spend time with her. I do actually like my wife most of the time, and like to spend time with her. So if she's still home, I'll probably hang out with her. But if not, then I'll probably do a stream of the inauguration just to watch it, just because I think this might be worth watching. They did move it indoors because of how cold it's going to be in DC today. It's 5 degrees here today, and it's not supposed to break like the teens. I saw the other 98% making fun of him for holding it indoors. He's afraid of a little cold weather. What the fuck? You just have to have anything to bitch about. Like it's a little bit different of a kind of cold weather. Like single degrees or teens is a little different than like the cold weather that they've had in inauguration days previous years, where it's like low 30s or upper 20s. Like there's a big difference between 20s and teens.
So that happens, and then by the end of the day, he gets to start doing executive orders and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if they've done their due diligence ahead of time, which I'm assuming that they have, it'll be like when Biden got inaugurated. Like Biden's inauguration finished, they took him straight to the White House, set him down at a desk with just a rack of fucking pens, and had him started signing executive orders. I think Biden signed like 43 executive orders on day one.
All on doing Trump shit, if I remember right, too.
Yeah, more or less. And remember how terrible that was? Do you remember he looked like he had no fucking clue what he was doing. Like he was just straight up space case. It was like they'd slide something in front of him, stick a pen in his hand, and he'd sign it, and then he'd be like,
well, at least from day one, we all knew what we were getting with that presidency.
Yeah, for real. It was like
there was much of a mystery anyhow.
Right. It was like nobody even told this dude what he was signing. It's just like, we're going to slide a bunch of paper in front of you. You're going to put your signature on it, and then we're going to move on. He's like, the whole time he was just completely spaced out. It was kind of nut.
Wheel you on out. Well, cross my fingers for old Ross.
Yes. Supposedly he's going to be like, if not day one, tomorrow. That's what he says.
Yeah, that's my big test for whether or not I get to feel like a smug, what have you, or if I'm going to feel guilty.
So that was interesting. So I spent a lot of time on Reddit trolling some of the leftist subs and stuff, and just fucking with them and being an asshole. And there was one that like they were losing their shit about how he's going to free Ross. And it's like, wait, what? Like this is a problem. Like the left now has a problem with this. What? Just because Trump is going to free him now? You like, golly, like TDS is for real broken y'all's fucking brains.
I think that's a big part of it. And then I would say also, I'd say, because of course the left is a broad spectrum of groups. I would say where these particular people who are upset get their news, because yeah, dude, like if you read like what Rolling Stone or like Wired or like any of like the more mainstreamish kind of like news sources, they all still have their shit up about how he's a terrible person and, a lot of negative shit about him. The movie they made, Ross, I think it was called, really painted him like a bad guy, and like the real piece of shit cop who busted him, who I think is in prison now for shit he did on that trial or on that case. Like they painted him as like everything, all the bad stuff he did was for his sick daughter or some shit. You know what I mean? Like they really painted him as the good guy, and they painted Ross as a bad guy. And a lot of people hold on to this, because they said he was selling guns and this and that, which like he wasn't, or if somebody posted like a gun, supposedly take it down. I wasn't on Silk Road. I don't fucking, I guess I don't know for sure, but there are, depending on where they get their news, they might see Ross as a bad dude, but I agree with you that typically people who are on the left would probably not see Ross as such a monster, especially if you're anti-establishment, because that was like the whole thing is like that was the establishment fucking him, So, yeah, poor fella.
And another fun thing, we talk about the other 98%, like watching the left swing from being anti-billionaire to pro-billionaire back to anti-billionaire. Now that I can't fucking keep up. Which way are y'all going? Like, pick a fucking lane.
And you're right. I mean, anything he does, like if he frees Ross, then all those sites are gonna find some reason to be upset about that. Which is pretty despicable. That's their MO. I mean, what do you expect? It's it's like expecting an outhouse not to smell like shit. It's.
I talked about like my computer. Microsoft ran an update overnight, and so when I came out here, I had to reboot. And when it came back up, I've got an article from Salon that I've got queued up for my daily that I'm going to do this morning, and it pulled up and said that this is from a potentially unsafe site. It's like Trump's getting inaugurated today, and now the left wing rags are being considered. Or Microsoft is calling the left wing rags unsafe. Like, yes, it's awesome. Oh gosh, Steve sent it in the chat. The Mexican word of the day. Did you see that? Hang on, I'll get it.
No, I saw he did, but I didn't look at it. Hold on. Oh, shoot! I just closed my thing here. I'll look now. I'll bring it up. Give me one sec.
I got it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say I'm gonna pull it up for the show because everybody deserves to see this one.
Like the Mexican word of the day reminds me of the redneck words, like from Jeff Foxworthy or one of the blue collar guys. Which you did you? You didn't bring your truck with you, did you?
Yeah, I do like the
You say
Mexican word.
hide in Spanish. I should know that. I've been very bad with my Spanish lessons the last couple months. I need to get back on that. I was doing decently for the last year, but the last couple months I kind of stopped altogether, and it's Esconder. I'm sure the pronunciation is terrible. Esconder.
I'd have to see the spelling. Oh, dude, I did.
Esconder.
Speaking of pronunciation being terrible, I did an article about Ukraine's latest missile strike on Russia and then Russia's retaliation and everything. And so, like, reading through all of the names of the Ukrainian and Russian like generals and intelligence officers and everybody that are like reporting on both sides of the stuff, and it's like according to and I just like speed run through the names, and I have no idea if I'm even close. I'm just like, all right, I see letters that look like they should go together like this, and I just say it. I probably didn't get a single name, first or last name, even remotely close to right in that entire article, and I just plow through it like I knew exactly what I was talking about the whole time.
Yep. I'll throw an asterisk out at the beginning of something like that and be like, look, I know I'm not going to say any of these names right, so, bear with me, but here it goes. then I feel okay about it. You know what I mean? I'm going to do my best. But that is where I could read aloud decently, but man, you hit me with a fucked up name, and that'll throw a stick in my spokes.
So I guess like the way I read is I'm saying out loud what I've already gone past. So I will skip stuff sometimes on accident, but like I'm kind of reading ahead as I'm reading out loud. And so I'll see it coming and I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to plow through this fucking thing. Like I'm not even going to pause or miss a beat. It's just going to, whatever comes out of my mouth when I hit the word, that's what it is. And I'm rolling with it. There are some that are like really, really complicated. And even those will stop me for a second. I'm like, fuck. Like I take pride in being a half-ass decent reader for a redneck, and sometimes I get caught up though.
Redneck readings.
When I started writing, I wrote a Substack early on, and sent it. Ooh, struggling today. Sent it to some friends to like let me know what they thought about it, and Tommy Salmons of all people, he was like, how is it that you write in Hillbilly? And I was like, I don't know. That's a gift, I guess.
I write in Teenage Girl. I use a lot of exclamation points. Well, at my job, my boss or the owner or whatever is a female, and all like she designs all the like the forms I have to fill out for job site stuff and this and that. And it's like the same kind of thing. Like she like when okay, so when I complete a form and I hit submit, it says at the top of the screen, yes, you did it. Like with exclamation points or something. Like, yes, good job. Form submitted. And I'm just like, oh, but that's exactly how like I type, same kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of write like a Valley girl. I don't know. The voice in my head is a ditzy blonde. What can I say?
And remember when all that stuff was going around about like the people who don't have an inner monologue or a inner narrator running all the time, like they don't hear their own thoughts? I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah, like 'cause I wonder that, like, how do animals think if they don't have language? Because like I think in language, in some stuff like that you think you can't really put into words. But yeah, like there's a voice running in my head, and half the time that voice is an extremely critical, arguing against everything I'm doing. Like I'm constantly, like there's somebody constantly sitting on my shoulder telling me everything I'm doing is wrong and stupid, and I have to constantly argue my case for why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's probably not healthy.
See, mine's the opposite. It's like, fuck this, burn that down. It's like, just run that motherfucker off the road. And like the fact that I am not infinitely more violent than I am is like a true testament to my willpower. Like, because if I did what this fucking thing says all the time, I've been in jail a long time ago, never getting out.
Well, see, maybe that's the point of like the inner voice, because like for me, like that negative, it makes me constantly have to think about the shit I'm doing and really think I'm doing whatever it is in the best possible way, right? Or very critical of myself. And same thing, you have to argue against that violent voice to keep you on the straight and narrow. You know, it's the, you know, maybe that's what our inner monologue is for. It has to be something that, you know, is something you have to constantly fight in order to keep yourself sharp, you know?
The fact that there were so many people who said they don't have one of those might be a decent sign as to the degradation of society and how we've gotten to the point that we have. If people don't like have that inner voice that they're having to like fight with to be a better person all the time, and they're just like, they've just succumbed to the being the terrible person that's, you know, inside of our heads. They don't even fight with it anymore. Maybe that's what's going on here. Because I mean,
Yeah,
societally, we have
not have that.
I don't know. Not for me, it wouldn't. I mean, maybe it would. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe for the best. Maybe you do some good before they take you down. Who knows?
Like one of these days, I am going to finally snap. And
hey, man, we do see like Killdozer guy as a hero. I mean, you know,
this is true. This is true. Sean and I watched. We watched, like, speaking of heroes that are unlikely heroes, Sean and I watched the Watchmen animated movie. So they took the Watchmen graphic novel and made an animated two animated movies out of it. And so we watched the first part last night, and he was talking about Rorschach, which Rorschach is Rorschach is like he's like Batman if he was homeless. I was like, well, that Alan Moore,
poor Batman.
Yeah, I was like, well, Alan Moore designed Rorschach to be what would Batman be like if he didn't have that strong moral compass? Like, because Rorschach is just like get the job done detective. But like there's one line where they're talking about this guy that was like a masochist or something, and would put a costume on and go like try to get the costumed like crime fighters to beat him up because he like got off on getting the shit kicked out of him. And so a couple of them are talking about like, whatever happened to that guy? And the one goes, oh, he pulled that with Rorschach and he threw him down an elevator shaft. It's like, hey, it's Batman with no morals. And
well, that's interesting because with, you know, the name and everything, like it's almost like, oh, depending on how you look at what action he does. So two different people could look at the same action that he did and see it as either being good or bad or whatever. That's interesting.
Well, and Alan Moore designed him to be like Batman with no morals, and you were supposed, like, the idea was you were supposed to look at that type of vigilantism and be like, ooh, that's like Batman is preferable. Like, you know, turn him over to the justice system and let the system do its job. Him like just exacting vigilante justice his way is like supposed to be a step too far. And then Rorschach ends up being viewed as like the main hero of the Watchmen. And it's like it was not Alan Moore's intent for him to be the hero. He was supposed to be a cautionary tale against, you know, extreme vigilantism. And instead people look at the character and they're like, hell yeah, he's actually getting shit done.
I just wish his mask didn't have a picture of my parents fighting on it.
That's perfect. Jay and I actually did an episode on my show of like a number of different fictional characters that their authors intended them to not necessarily be viewed protagonistically, like they were supposed to be a cautionary tale or a warning sign or a warning statement, or like you're supposed to see this character and be like, oh, that's too much, and then people ended up like viewing them as the good guy, and like the like Paul Atreides in Dune, like Herbert to his death, like didn't like how people viewed Atreides or Paul Atreides, because he was supposed to be like a cautionary tale against prophetic savior type characters, and instead, and because he does like go on a full on like global or a universal genocide against the Empire and stuff, and instead people are like, yeah, the Empire was fucking corrupt. He did what he did. Like it's interesting when they create characters thinking that this is going to be like a cautionary tale against something, and instead people look at the character and they're like, fuck yeah, that dude's getting shit done. Why don't we have one of those in real life?
People like a cool bad guy, man. I mean, you look at it like the Wyatt Earp story and all that, It's like, oh, like he's this great lawman hero, but didn't he like steal a horse, which was like a hangable offense, and his dad, who was a judge, like released him, like shit like that. And then he went out west to just be a lawman, or like Doc Holliday, like maybe murdered some people and stole a bunch of shit, but he was like that good lawman's best friend. And of course, Doc Holliday.
You cut out. You still there? Uh-oh, I lost Dag. I knew he said he had to leave a little early. I didn't think he was just going to disappear entirely all of a sudden. Well, since we were talking about the inauguration, apparently there's going to be a musical guest at the inauguration today. Soulja Boy. I didn't even know Donald Trump liked rap music, but here we go.
Nigga, they pay me a bag, nigga. Obama ain't never put no money in my fucking pockets, nigga. Kamala ain't never put no money in my motherfucking pockets, nigga. Trump put money in my pockets, nigga. When motherfuckers are trying to say something about me performing at the crypto ball party, did Kamala call my fucking phone? Did Obama call my motherfucking phone? Did any of you niggas call my motherfucking phone? Oh, God, nigga. The fuck you mean, nigga? I do what the fuck I want, nigga. Trump called my phone, nigga. It wasn't even a Trump event. Trump wasn't even there, nigga. Y'all so worried about he performed, him, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross. Kamala, you ain't even win, bitch. Obama, you ain't call my fucking phone, nigga. Y'all suck my dick, nigga. Y'all want me to not answer the phone of the fucking president, nigga? This nigga the president of the motherfucking United States, nigga. Nigga, Trump wasn't even there, nigga. It wasn't even a Trump event, nigga. It was the crypto ball for crypto, nigga. Nigga, y'all can suck my dick, nigga. Cancel me all day, nigga. Fuck y'all, nigga. Fuck y'all, nigga. On my mama, nigga, I don't give a fuck what nobody talking about. Nigga, I do what the fuck I want to do, nigga. And I'll go again. Fuck you talking about.
I love that so much. Like, money speaks, especially to the rap game. Last clip, and then I'll call it a day. We got a little Dave Chappelle. I love me some Dave Chappelle. Oh, God, I love Dave Chappelle. Well, I guess that'll do it for me. I will be back here in an hour and a half or so to do my own show. And then check back in around noon. I might be covering the inauguration today. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll send you out on a slightly more mellow note than what we normally do, if I can find it. There we go. Have a good one.
Georgia, the whole day through. just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. I said, Georgia, Georgia, a song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines.